Hey, hello everyone. So, how are you all? Hope you all are doing great. Yeah, I can see some people there out there. So, you can start interacting on the chats, and we are Coders Evoke is back with one amazing session on 3D modeling, and today we have Prathamesh Shanbagh with us as a speaker, right? And yeah, today we are going to see a lot of things about 3D modeling, about Blender, and many things. So, like those who are beginners, so this is going to be a very cool session for them. Yeah, and at the end, we are also going to give one Google form so that you can fill it out and we can just reach out with you with certificates. Okay, so yeah, let me we can wait for 1 or 2 minutes, and after that we will start this session. Okay, so till then, let me introduce myself. Yeah, I am Ayan Gupta, and I am organizer of Coders Evoke, and I am also an Android lead at SSITM GDSC, and I am also as a lead of Durg region. Okay, so that's great to see, and during this session, you can also ask your doubts and whatever doubts you have, and we will be more than happy to give you answers. Yeah, so I am inviting our honorable guest with us. Yeah, hello Pratmesh.
Hey there, Ayan. Hey everyone. I can see a lot of buzz in the chat. Thank you so much.
Great.
So
Yeah,
let me know
so
when I should start, right?
yeah, I think we can wait for more 10 seconds and then we can start.
Sure.
Some people are there. Yeah, and guys, one more thing, like you can also invite your friends, like those who are interested, and they may be not knowing about this session. Okay, so it will be helpful for them also. Yeah, so yeah, let's get started. So now it's
Okay.
up to you.
I'll share my screen just a second.
Yeah.
And it should be visible.
Yeah, folks, you can just comment on the chats, like is it visible or not.
Okay. I hope it's visible. And let's begin with the session. So hello everyone. This, as you can see, on 3D modeling and everything else that is 3D related. I will be helping you with the complete roadmap of how you can develop things in 3D and also the free resources that I have compiled in a Notion document that I will be sharing with you so that you can master 3D modeling. I'll be just checking the comments in a bit. Yes, everyone's saying it's visible. All right. Moving on, a quick overview of what I'll be sharing with you today is what exactly is 3D modeling and how you can master it, the very basics, the concepts, everything, and what is the hype behind 3D modeling and why are so many people involved in it, and what are the different paths that you can also take to master this skill. Apart from that, like I mentioned, I'll be also sharing some tools with you for 3D modeling, and there will be a small interactive session on Blender, and it will be one of the projects that I've already done and shared on Instagram. But this time you will be building it with me. That is, if you want, or you can just watch me build it. It's up to you. Now, yeah, just a quick intro about myself. And my name is Prathamesh Shanbagh. I am a full stack developer. I am specializing in front end. Um, I specialize more in the 3D aspect of front end development, which is why I love 3D modeling and creating interactive experiences within the web and everything else 3D. Apart from that, I am a hack club lead and also a mentor and organizer at various hackathons. I have been associated with a lot of hackathons in the past, approximately 30 to be precise, and they have been with various roles such as mentor, volunteer, organizer, and so on. Okay, let's dive into the session. And uh, with the very basics, like what is 3D modeling, the concepts and its meanings explained to you. uh, I have done a few projects in 3D. I will be sharing those links with you as well. Now coming to, just a second, um, let me get this. All right. Okay. Coming to what exactly is 3D modeling, it is essentially a branch of 3D computer graphics, and it is the process of developing a real life representation of any three-dimensional surface, or to put it very simply, to recreate the real life object inside a specialized software on your computer. Now, there are a very few basics concepts that you might have learned before, but you might have forgotten because it has been a lot of while. Like, for people who remember it around their 10th standard, this should be very easy. This is the concept that were taught. um, the three xyz axis systems, the vertex, edge and face concept. These are the two technical concepts, and non-technical skill would be a creative spatial presence. What this term exactly means is that you should have the power of imagination, of imagining the 3D object inside an environment. It can be any environment, an empty room or a space, and it should all be imaginary, so that you can maybe have an, like, if you must have seen in YouTube videos, you see an exploded view of the object, like a car, but they show you what is under the hood of the car, stuff like that. And creative spatial presence also means that um you should know what an object looks just by memorizing it. For example, an experiment was done, a social experiment, where people on the road were randomly asked to tell them how a cycle looks, and a lot of them could not explain or draw uh, how a cycle look, because it is something that we see daily and we tend to overlook, like how the cycle looks in daily life. And that is why when you are asked to draw the cycle, they just couldn't draw. It is something you can do right now. If you can close your eyes and think of how a cycle is actually, the frame of the cycle, not the wheels, just the frame of the cycle, it's pretty damn difficult just to remember, because it is a common thing and we tend to overlook it. Now, moving on to the two technical concepts. Oops, I skipped a slide. All right. The XYZ axis systems. Now I'll do something which is very nostalgic to you. Um, Going to give you an example with, I should see my screen. Give you an example with a real life object like this box. All right. So this, or this would be better. This would be what you call a vertex. All right. This would be what you call an edge, and this entire plane would be something that you call as a face. So vertex, edge and face. And to demonstrate what xyz axis would be, is the same thing. This would be the x axis, the y axis and the z axis. If you can imagine these three things in a 3D environment, you are good to go when you are doing Blender. uh, I think, all right. uh, is my screen being shared? Let's, okay, yeah, that works. So if you know the three axis systems, you are good to go when you step into Blender and try to manipulate the object in all these three axes. Uh, yep. Now, like I explained with the box, uh, just a second. Yeah, you can imagine the box being here. And this is common conventional denotation, where x-axis is denoted in red, y-axis is denoted in green, and z-axis is denoted in blue. And this is in Blender as well. This is the same convention. Now, okay, this is something I explained with the box as well. The vertex, edge and face. If you are familiar with this concept, it's really great. There is something that we call an edit mode in Blender. When you go into that, you can actually select the vertex, edge and face of an object to manipulate it, basically. And these are all the definitions. If you can just read through it, it is pretty much self explanatory. and where it just says that vertex is a point, and that point can be expressed in terms of x, y, and z coordinates. uh, Pretty simple. Two vertices connected by a line is an edge, and where an entire object's face is on the polygon is done, it is called as the face. uh, yeah, these are the tools that can help you to master 3D modeling, and these are all different options. You can choose any, and if you may ask me what are the differences between them, there are a lot of factors: user experience, performance, features, compatibility, price, and so on. So there are a lot of things that involve these software. For like I've bifurcated it here. For modeling, you can choose Autodesk Maya, 3ds Max, ZBrush, Mudbox, Blender, Revit, AutoCAD, Cinema 4D, Inventor, and a few others. If I would like to mention, would be uh, more towards the architecture side of 3D modeling, would be Rhinoceros, SketchUp, and many others. So for inspiration, you can go through Figma, Behance, or Dribble for all of these 3D models. Like if you want to design something and you are like out of ideas, you can go through these websites to see what you want to design them with. Now, talking about what I use to design my 3D models, my weapon of choice is, of course, Blender. Why? Because it is open source, it is free, it has good performance, it is very light, it has a lot of features, and it has a vast community of people who are already working on Blender and making amazing projects. And it has become very easy to use ever since the Blender 2.8 update. Now, uh, now I would like to jump into the demo session so that I can actually demonstrate how powerful Blender is. So just give me a second. I'll open Blender and share it with you. And as I share my screen, I can tell you a little bit about Blender. Um, there is a lot of stuff that might get confusing at first, like when you see the opening screen. But don't worry, I'll be walking through everything so that you have a clear idea of what you are looking at. And all right, Blender is open. Share. Um, I would like to have some confirmation in the chat that it is visible. Yes, Blender would definitely be best for beginners. I can see that my screen is visible, so I'll just continue. All right. So I don't know how I could explain. I hope that my mouse is visible as well, right? So the main area that you see, the big area, is called as viewport. The main area is called as the viewport. This thing that you see below is called as the animation scale, and this is also called as the timeline. Then this area that you see, where you have written collection, cube, and light, this is called as the outliner. It's like a split view of all the objects that you have in the scene, and these are the properties. This section, the property section, changes on when what object you select. If I select this box, I get a different properties, but if I unselect it, the properties inside this will change. uh, we'll be working with the default scene. When you start Blender, this is the scene that you get. This is called as the default scene, where you have this cube and one light, and that's about it. So we'll be creating the sushi project that I have on my Instagram. I'll show the finished project with you soon. But to develop it is what we'll be doing it right now. So first, what we'll do is I'll give you a breakdown of certain things like shortcuts. First, this is something you call as the object mode and edit mode, sculpt mode, vertex paint, weight paint, texture paint. These are all different types of modes that you can switch between to see the object change as well. What we'll be concerning ourselves with is object mode and edit mode. That's it. Um so what happens when you click on object, the edit mode changes the geometry of the object. Like I had explained to you, you can see the vertex, the edge and the plane. You can individually select each vertex, edge or plane depending on the settings. I'll show you the settings as well. So when on your keyboard, when you are inside the viewport, if you click on one, you can see the switch here. So you can select each vertex. If you click on 2, you can select each edge. I better zoom in so it's visible. You can select each edge when you click 2. If you want to select multiple, you hold down shift and then click. And when I click on 3 and I select something, you can select faces. And that is as simple as it gets. You can see these faces are not selected because I haven't selected them, but I can individually select them by holding shift and then clicking. A short method of selecting everything is just press A and everything gets selected. You press A and everything gets selected. If you want to deselect it, press A two times and everything gets deselected. The shortcuts are really complex when you try to integrate it in your workflow. You would rather be comfortable with this. Maybe you can just select one, two, or three here from the UI, but shortcuts are going to help boost your speed when you are developing something. So yeah, let's make the sushi project first. What I'll be doing here right now is selecting everything, and we have something called as scale, which uh, can help you scale the object down or make it bigger. This can be done using the S key. When you press the S key, you can see I can scale the object down or make it bigger. Um Now, coming to the point where you should know about the axis, X, Y, and Z axis. When you want to scale down on a particular axis, you press S like we did here. I'll just escape. Press S. You can scale the object anywhere you want, but when you press a particular axis like X, now the object scales only on the X axis. And like I have told you, X is red, Y is green, and Z is blue. So this is X axis scaling. Now if I press Y, the object is going to scale on Y axis only. And if I press Z, the object is going to scale on Z axis only. This is not only for scaling, even while using rotation, you press R and then press the axis and the object is going to rotate in that manner. All right, now for the sushi, we'll be making it this big, I guess. Let me just see. Nope, we'll make it a little bigger. I guess this much is enough. All right, and you confirm by clicking. So if I go into scale, I can scale. If I right click, it goes back to original. If I click, it's gets selected at that size. And Control Z to undo. Uh, yeah, I have told you about the tab key will help you switch between edit mode and object mode. Now I am just pressing tab. This is the object mode. This is the edit mode. So tab key will help you switch between edit and object mode. Then you have the vertex, edge, and face select. Now we'll be doing something called a subdivide. So what subdivide does is it just creates cuts on the object that you have, and this you can do by right clicking on the object and pressing subdivide. As you can see, the object has now been divided into multiple faces, but we need more than that. We'll be subdividing two times, so we get this these many cuts on the object. All right. I think I should have scaled it more, so I'm just going to undo, scale it on this Z axis a little more to make it look like a sushi, and then subdivide twice. All right. Now for the sushi, like I had mentioned, if I press 1, I can only select vertices. These small dots, only those I can select, the rest I can't. But if I press 2 and then I select them, I can select the edges. But what we need is faces. So I'm going to press 3 and select these four faces in the center. Now there is an interesting tool that I like to call as extrude. Extrude is something that can make the object, the selected part of your object, larger or smaller. Like I'll show you, it's different than scale. uh, to give an example, like think of it as an excavator. Like if you can, I'll just show you, that would be better. I pressed E is for extrude. If you press E, it goes into extrude, and then I press Z so that I can extrude only on the Z axis, as you can see. All right, only on the Z axis. So what we want to do is, you can make it go outside the bounds of the cube or insert it inside. So what I'm going to do is insert it a little bit, and now I'm going to select these three faces and extrude them further, and that's how it's going to look. Also, to move into the viewport, the important thing you should know is, if you have a three button mouse, the third button will allow you to move in the viewport like this. Or you can use this gizmo, you just click on this gizmo and hold it like this to move, and you can move around in the scene. In case you don't have a three button mouse, you hold down the alt key and then you rotate anywhere you want. Just doing a quick check that everything is visible on the stream. Yeah. All right. uh now now that we have subdivided and extruded, this is actually the sushi, the base of the sushi. mm, all right, now the sushi is not just a simple one, it also has seaweed on side of it. So what I'm going to do is, like I've shown you, you can hold shift and select each of the faces, but to do that is so tedious if you want to select all of these. So what you do is, go on to the edge of the object like so, and double click here, and the entire loop is selected. The entire loop of this object is selected, and then what you do next is, uh, double click the next loop, and there you have it. Rather than manually selecting each of the faces, you double click and select all of them. And then the same thing we are going to do is extrude, but here what we are going to do is, if you click on extrude, it's going to extrude this way, which is not something that we want. So I am going to do Control Z and show you something which is called as, just a second, normals. I hope this is visible. It is something you must have learned in 10th standard. Normals are basically lines that are perpendicular to your faces. So when I extrude along the normals, it's going to give me a proper extrusion and not uh, the one that you saw previously. So I'm just going to switch off this normals. That's it. Select this one face that was left. Just double check all the faces are selected, and then we can do extrude faces along the normals, and the shortcut for that is Alt E. If you press just E, it's going to give you the error. Alt E will allow you to extrude the faces along the normals. Now when I extrude, it's giving me this proper extrusion, but let me show you. The sushi is not curved in real life, right? It's like a proper cube. So I'm going to undo it and select this face. Alt E to extrude the faces along the normals. Extrude and press S, and the objects become completely aligned to the normals, and select a proper length for the seaweed. That's, I think, is perfect. And there you have it. This is going to be the outer area of the seaweed. And now let's add materials. This is something that is super interesting and you would like to see. So first we'll add the material for the seaweed, which is green in color. So I'm also going to select this outer area. As you can see, this loop also got selected. Uh, and I would also want to select this complete area. And now we are going to give it materials. So this option that you see, the circular red ball, that is the materials bar. Here you can assign materials. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to name this material seaweed, and us click oh, but all the objects have been selected. That is not what we want. I will have to select them again. So just for a refresher, hold double click on loops, hold shift. I think that should be enough. Just this outer loop. Yeah, that's about it. Now we click on assign, and when we click on assign, all the selected panels have been assigned to this material. Now what we can do is change the base color. I'm going to give it a dark green, and now it's not visible, but to view it, go to view it, what you'll have to do is press Z, and when you press Z, you will see that there are the exploded view, a circular menu. You can go to rendered view, solid view, material preview, and wireframe. I'll show you each of this view. Currently we are in the solid view. As you can see this object, when you go to wireframe, you can see the object in, basically, you remove the faces and see what's inside. That is the wireframe view. Material preview is what we want, so that we can see what color is being assigned to this object. And for some reason, oh, the entire object has got seaweed color, so I'm just going to remove this material and make a new one. For some reason everything's getting selected, so let's just do it again. Right, create a new material and click on assign. Now if I change the color, yep, that's I think we are in material preview. Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's fine. I can change the color of these later. What I'm going to do in the meanwhile is just extrude this part only, so that it has like a wall. That's much better. Now what I'm going to do is select these faces and give it the color of sushi, not these ones. This is something that will have a different color. I should go back. All right. And the ones down as well. Here you can't use the double click because it's going to select the whole loop, and that's not what we want. Uh, then go to new material, select new, just check if it's working first. Oh, I'll have to click on assign and then give it a different color. Some light green should work, very light green. And I would also want to change the color for seaweed because it's too. Yep, that's much better. Now for this, these three faces is going to have a new material, and I'm going to give it dark reddish color. It is basically the salmon. Oh, I didn't assign them. Click on assign, and that works. Click on this one. Don't forget to select the other two faces. Create a new material, assign it, then give it color, and we're going to make this dark red. Uh, for these, I'm going to change the color to a little lighter one, and also for this, I'm going to change the color. We need somewhat a lighter shade. Oh, not blue. Yeah, that works. So this is how you give color to the sushi. Now, a very interesting term that is used in Blender, and it's called a modifier. Basically, if suppose I want to, obviously a sushi won't consist of just one on the plate, it's going to have multiple. So if you want six sushis, you're going to duplicate it multiple times, and duplicating each one is very tedious. So we use something called as modifiers. Modifiers are non-destructive way of modifying the models. It basically creates instances of the same model that you have made. So what I'm going to do is go to object mode, uh, go to edit mode and select all, add the modifier. Just a second. Click on add modifier, and modifiers, by the way, is this wrench here in the properties. Go to add modifiers, and these are the modifiers that are available to you. Just click on array, and what you'll see is now you have two sushis. Now what you can do is increase the count. I can create as many sushis as I want. As you can see, we are going to have three. Now what you can do is, this is offset. Basically the sushis are joined together, but we want some gap in between them. So we are going to give a gap of 1.2, and this is the relative offset. As you can see, 1.2 is the gap we have given between them on the x axis. All right, now we'll add the array modifier again, and we have this. The count is perfect, 3. Now we are going to make the gap on the x axis 0, and when we do that, all the no all the models get stacked on each other, and we are going to increase the gap here. And as you can see, we have the sushis, but they are stuck together. So what you can do is increase the gap in between them, and increase the gap here. Perfect. As you can see, the sushi is now done, and they have proper spacing in between them. Now what I'm going to do is name the sushi here, call it sushi. And as you can see, this eye icon, if you click on it, you can hide the objects so that you have a clear viewport to work with. Then what we are going to do is make the plate, and I'll make it quick now. Shift A is to add meshes. You can click on Shift A and add whatever mesh you want. But first, you need to switch to object mode. Shift A, and then you have so many options to add the meshes. What we want is a plane. We have this plane. You go back to edit mode, scale by pressing S. You can press any number. If I press 4, it gets scaled up to 4 units. Then if you press 8, it's going to scale up to 8 units, but we need 4. So I'm going to press S4 and click to confirm. All right. Now that we have added a plane, we are going to extrude the plane to make the plate. So I'm going to press E and extrude on Z axis. So press Z, and okay, this view is bad for me to see how thick it is. So I'm going to move a little bit. Press on extrude Z. Extrude Z. Yep. So I think that thick of a plate would work. Now we are in edit mode and we are in the face select. As you can see, this is the edge select, vertex select. I'm in the face select. I'm going to select the top face and press on inset. Inset is an option that scales the polygon inwards while leaving the outside edges unaffected. So when I press I, which is the shortcut for inset, you press I and you scale it down to how much you want as the plate surface. I think this much is enough. And now you have this small square inside this bigger square, and you, as you can see, inset has left the outside edges unaffected. So you can press extrude again and press Z key and then extrude down, not so much, but till here, and the plate is done. Now there is a thing called views, and to see how many views are available, just press the back tick key on your keyboard. If you press the back tick key, this is the circular menu that you get, and you can select any of the views that you want. Just a second, I'll have a sip of water and we can continue. All right. So we have this circular menu. So if I want to view the entire thing from top, I can go to the top view, and a blender automatically snaps to the top view. And since we have the sushi hidden, we can't see it, so we go see the sushi. The sushi is here. I'll switch to the solid view for now. Sorry, to the wireframe view, so that I can see clearly. Now let me select the sushi, and if you press G, it's the free moving tool for this one in Blender. You can freely move the object anywhere you want when you press G. Same logic, like extrude or rotate or inset. You press G and press X, it's going to snap to the X axis only. Now if I press Y, it's going to snap to the Y axis only. And Z will also work, but it won't be visible in this view because we are in the top view. If I move away from the top view, and now if I press G and Z, as you can see, Z axis, it's going to move only on the Z axis. So going back to the top view, if I move the sushi parallel to the Y axis first, then G and X, move it towards the center, then go to edit, scale it down a little bit so that it fits in the plate. I think this is enough. Then press G and Y again. G and X to center it. And the sushi is now sitting right in the center of the plate. Uh, Now what we don't know is how deep is the sushi inside the plate, so we'll have to go again in the right view just to see. And as you can see, the sushi is going underneath the plate, so that's not what we want. Press G and press Z to snap it to the Z axis and move the sushi on top. uh, I'll just have a closer look. As you can see, there's still a gap, so press G and Z and move it exactly above the plate, and this is what you have as the result. All right. Now this gizmo that you can see, this center cursor, is called as the center cursor, and you can switch this position of the center cursor using this option on the toolbar. If you click it anywhere, it snaps on the surface of whatever you click it on. So we are going to make the chopsticks now. I'm going to click and snap it to this surface, and go press Shift A to create a new mesh. I'm going to create a cube. Now I'm going to scale it to make it look like a chopstick. And to scale, as I've told you, press S and you can scale it. If you press X, it's going to scale only in X axis. Press Y, it's going to scale only in Y axis. And Z, it's going to scale only in Z axis. But if you want to scale it in X and Y axis except for the Z axis, you press Shift Z and it's going to scale in both axes except for Z axis, as you can see. I'm going to press Shift Y because we don't want to scale it in Y axis. And this is the chopstick. I'm again going to scale it in Y so that it becomes greater in length. And press G and Y again to move it a little bit on the plate. Now, as you can see, chopstick is inside the plate and we don't want that. So what we are going to do is again go into the front view. And as you can see, it's inside the plate. To view it better, we'll go to wireframe. Yeah, as you can see, it's inside. So press G, press Z again, with right on the plate, and go back to solid view. Now as you can see, this is the chopstick. Of course, you're not going to eat with one, so we'll have two. We are going to duplicate it. Here there is no need to add the array modifier. Just a simple duplicate is going to work. But before that, we'll have to move the center cursor back to center. So just press Shift C, and the center cursor moves back exactly at the origin point, which is in terms of XYZ is 0, 0, 0. And now what we're going to do is duplicate this chopstick by pressing Alt D. Just a second. Yep. And when you press Alt D, you can see that chopstick has been duplicated. Now it's freely moving everywhere, but now I want to snap it only to the x-axis. So I press X. It's going to snap only to the x-axis, and I move the chopstick here. Now there's no need for me to see if it is going inside the plate because I have just moved it only on one axis, so it's exactly aligned to the previous chopstick. And as for now, we have given only material to the sushi and not the plate and the chopstick. If you want to see, press Z. This is the circular menu you get. Go to material preview, and you can see only the sushi has the color. The rest of the objects don't. So click on the plate. Go to material, which is this red circle. Click on new. You can name it if you want, uh, and click on color. Just give it any color you want. I am going to go red and going to go dark so that we have a little black plate, typical in sushi restaurants. And for the chopsticks, we are going to give it a wood color. And basically, if you know how to use the circular color wheel, you are good to go. Just select red and decrease darkness, and it will look like a wooden chopstick. It's too dark. Yep, that works. Yep. And after we have done that, to render this, we are going to need a camera. So I'm going to press shift A again, and I'll press it here. You can see this add menu opens, and you can go to camera. You have a camera that has been created at the center point. So what we are going to do is click on the camera. It's actually below this sushi, so I'll have to move downwards. So you can see this camera has been generated here. uh, Press G, press Z, you can move the camera up. Now press G and Y to move it behind, and press G and X to move it here. And the camera is now currently viewing the sushi. What we want to do is change the camera from perspective to orthographic. The main difference between perspective and orthographic is that in orthographic camera the object doesn't change size according to the distance. So even if I view the camera, keep the camera here or move it closer to the sushi, the size of that object is going to remain the same, and that is not the case in the perspective camera. Now what we're going to do here is change the resolution, just so that you can view what is happening. You are going to press the back tick, and here you can see view camera option. You go to the view camera option, and this is currently what the camera is seeing, and it's not looking at the sushi, it's looking somewhere else. So what we are going to do is, first we'll press G, and you can move the camera now. Now that the sushi is in frame, you want to zoom out or zoom in with the orthographic scale. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and that's about it. We'll also want to change the aspect ratio that you can do from here, which is in the resolution. Make it 1600 by 1200 to get a square um, camera frame view, and move it a little bit so that it's perfectly in view. And we don't need so much of space, so I'm going to go to camera and zoom in a little bit. All right. um, we are also going to need a background. So what I'm going to do is press shift A, add a mesh, add a plane. Now the plane has been generated behind here. I'm going to go to edit mode, press scale, and scale this plane up so that it covers the entire camera view. And now I'm going to go to material, add a new material, give it this blue color. And if I go to material and deselect it, this is how it should look. uh, yeah. And now what we are going to do is add lights. So basically you're going to do shift A, uh, not in edit mode. Press tab, go to object mode, shift A, light, and we're going to add a sunlight basically. We already have a light in the scene, which is this, but we are going to delete it. First, what we're going to do is press G and Z and move the sun. uh, is my screen being shared? Just to confirm, I am going to. All right, I can see a lot of questions. uh, i'll I'll see the questions soon once I'm done with the session. First, we are going to delete this point light which was in the default scene. What I'm going to do is select the point light, press X. It's going to give me an option delete. I'm going to click on OK. It's going to delete that. Now, the sunlight that we have made, which is actually under this, as you can see, it's below the scene. Go back to the camera view, press G, press Z, uh, and then Z, and move the camera on top, uh, about here. Now the camera is sitting here. Just a second. All right. Now that the light is sitting here, what we are going to do is, here as you can see, the we are going to move the light basically. But if you try to rotate it like this, it's going to rotate only the light like this and not how we want it. So what I'm going to do is change the pivot point from median point to 3D cursor. So what happens is this light is going to move only along this 3D cursor. So now when I press R and try to rotate, as you can see, the light is now rotating. Complete light is rotating and not just the rays. uh, and I'm going to press Y so that I only rotate on the Y axis. Then I'm going to input 45, so we have a 45-degree angle. This is how you do it. Like basically, you just uh, add the light, make it so that it rotates, go into the R so that it rotates, then input the value how much you want it to rotate. And this is something that will come with experience. um, yeah, you press 45, and then because the light is coming from the left hand side and that is not what we want, we press minus so that light goes that way, and then press enter. uh, Also we would want to rotate it along the Z axis, so press Z and 45, then enter. So this is how the lighting setup is done. Also, there are certain things that you can do, like increase the strength, decrease the angle to 0, increase the strength of the light to maybe 3. Go to render settings, render output, go to color management and increase the exposure to make the colors of the scene pop a little bit. 3 would be too much, so 1.5 is enough. And the render output settings, you would change the render engine from EV to cycles. And from device, if you have a graphic card, obviously you will get option to change from CPU to GPU compute. I am working with an Nvidia graphic card, so I have this option. Then yeah, the difference between cycles and EV is that cycles uses ray tracing. Basically, each ray of light in the scene will be simulated to bounce on the object and then render. In EV, that is not the case. And that's about it. You are going to then go to this option which is called as render. Click on render, and you can click on render image. If you click on render image, the scene will start rendering as you can see here. But I am obviously not going to render it because it's showing a lot of time to render. So I'm going to stop it and just directly show you what the finished product looks like. Go to sushi, and I will have to switch the screen sharing so that you can see what the finished product looks like. uh, so like I showed you, after you click on render, uh, for some reason I'm not getting the window. Yeah, this is what, if Ian you can share it, if after you click on render, this is what the image is going to look like. uh, and because you use cycles as the render engine, you can clearly see the shadow, the chopsticks, everything looks absolutely amazing. And this is not the end. You can create animations so much. There is so much that you can do in Blender. I would like to share some examples with you. I think we have last 10 minutes with us, so let's do that. All right. um I'm going to share my presentation again. All right. So this is where we left it. That my weapon of choice was Blender, and as you can see, it's really powerful. The things you can do with it is limitless. Now coming to the good news, that you must have felt that this is really complex, and to build 3D projects would take a lot of time. But you'll be blown away when you hear this, that everything that you don't have to model everything. uh, you if you need it for a personal user project, there is a good chance that someone has already made the model for you, and all you can do is import it in your project and use it. But then the question arises, why you should learn 3D modeling? Then my answer to that would be, uh, it is not always the case that you will have a 3D model that is customized and what you want, and that is available on the website to directly download and import. So this is the very, and that is the point, you will wish you knew how to do 3D modeling, and that is why it is really crucial to learn. Now there are a few 3D model resource packs that I have included in the Notion document that I will be sharing with you at the end of this session. uh, and that's about it for 3D modeling. Now the different parts, this is the final part, and it is something that is really important, because you should know that why are you learning 3D modeling. Basically, what are the different paths that you can take after you master 3D modeling. So the different routes of 3D modeling are freelance, interactive web route, and content creator route. It is something that I have bifurcated. There can be many. So, talking about freelance route, there are many websites and many studios or individuals that are asking for 3D models on freelance basis. They want you to create these 3D models, and they are ready to pay X amount of money for it. And it is a really thriving industry. Like, people get orders, typically maybe 10 to 15 orders daily on websites like Fiverr or there I have listed them in the Notion document that you can go through. Upwork and Fiverr are the most prominent ones. Then there is the interactive web route. It is the route that I have chosen. Basically using the 3D models and importing them in websites and creating basically interactive websites. I will be showing a few examples at the end of this session. uh, those websites are different from the normal ones. It is something that if you see once, you would wish that you want to create those, and which is why I did it. And the content creator route is something that is maybe secondary, and it is something that you can do along with the freelance and interactive web route. Basically create content on what you are doing in Blender, or creating websites with 3D models. You take a picture, post it, and then maybe get more exposure and more orders from your content that you are posting, maybe Instagram, Twitter, anywhere that you want, and making money off of that as well. So that is the end of the session. I am happy to take any questions, and also uh, if you learned something new today, I would absolutely love to know your thoughts and feedback on on this session. So these are my handles. You can tag me on Twitter and tag Coders Evoke as well on Twitter or Instagram, or any other handles that you want, and I would greatly appreciate that. So I would love to take some questions, and also in the meanwhile, I'll be showing you some websites and a Notion document that I have, uh, so that you can see the amount of resources that I've shared. Ayan, I hope my screen is
Yeah,
visible.
no, your screen is not
Oh,
visible.
I okay. I think my camera got disconnected. I'll just connect it again.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's what I am thinking. A lot of questions are there. Yeah, we will be coming on that also. Not okay, but your voice is not audible, Prathamesh. You're mute. You're in mute.
Extremely sorry. Yeah. I would just like to show a few
Yeah, it's okay.
sites in case like for interactive web that what can be done. So I'll just share my screen. It will take 2 minutes. That's it. This is the Notion document that I'm going to share with you. I think I have not set it to share, so I'll just share it, and I'm going to copy the link. And maybe Ayan, you can. I'll just send it to you in the private chat, so you can share it with everyone. All right.
Yeah, sure, I will do that.
So these are the links that I've already made. You can download Blender here. This is a link to see of what can be achieved using Blender. To have a quick look, I can just open the link for you, and while that loads, I'll show you some of the other resources. If you want to go in depth with Blender, these are free resources that you can use to master Blender. YouTube channels basically. Um, the OG, his donut tutorial is great by Blender Guru. Polygon Runway is a really good one as well. Low poly style Blender renders is what you can get, and um, yeah, just and Polyfjord as well. Overall, amazing tutorials. The 3D resource packs that I mentioned in my presentation, these are the websites for 3D resource packs. You can use any of these websites, they're all free. Download those resources and use them in your projects. That's about it. These are 3D modeling paths. Like if you want to do freelancing, these are two websites where you can make your profile and put your work for display, and people will come to you for work. Interactive websites, 3js, I'm a huge fan of 3js. It is a library that helps you import your 3D models into the website and make use of it. um, 3js documentation, 3js journey is a course by Bruno Simon where you can learn 3js. These are different websites which use 3js to make it really interactive. This is the content creator route. A few content creators on Instagram that you can follow and see their models. uh, just for example, I'm going to open this one. For some reason, yeah, I thought YouTube wasn't loading for me. I'm going to have to mute, right? As you can see, like this entire thing has been created in Blender, and it's unbelievable basically. If and it's I think it has been done by the Blender team. Can you believe that this entire scene has been created in Blender? When the first time I saw it, I wasn't able to believe it, but yeah, it is what it is. So make sure to check out all the links that I have shared in the Notion document. um, like even this the scene where this lady is done, this is something called as rigging, and you can do that using Blender. So that's about it. uh, this is an Instagram account that I would like to share. This is done in Blender. Now this would be something that would take years of practice, but as you can see, this is all done in Blender. These houses, stuff like that. And I have tried something similar in my recent post, which I would like to show. This is something that I created recently. um, I hope it loads soon. Okay, this is the scene that I had created. This is done entirely in Blender. The entire walkthrough is here if you are interested. I will be sharing the link to it. It is there in the Notion that I've shared. And for the first time, I'm going to, on this session, share my Linktree alternative that I have developed. Basically, I didn't want the Linktree on my website, for my website, so I created this on my own. This is a 3D model of the Tesla Cybertruck, and this is my website. I'll soon be announcing and sharing about it on social media. So my GitHub, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, blog, everything is going to be on this website. I didn't want it to be just on the link tree. It doesn't give you the real feel, like it doesn't tell you what the person does, so I just wanted this to be there. You can check it out. Everything is mentioned in the Notion document. And if this is going to be the main deal, the top notch free resources, if you are interested in Blender, you want to master it, please go for all these channels, follow any of their playlists, and it's going to help you greatly. Um, if if I want to share what is the extreme level that can be achieved, maybe, so using 3js, this website is what I would like to show. And bear in mind that it's going to be GPU intensive, basically meaning that it's going to take a lot of resources of your computer to load. So yeah, here as you can see, this is the 3D model that this is a website that has been created by Bruno Simon, 3js journey, where you, if you want to learn 3js or you are interested, you can definitely check it out. This entire thing has been modeled in Blender and brought into the web using 3js. uh, you can move around, zoom out, this drone moves on its own, stuff like that. It's pretty cool. uh, you should check it out on your PC as well. It's not worth it for me to show it to you. So this is going to be the life and blood just for 3D modeling resources. Do check it out. That's about it. All right.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Prathamesh. That was really an amazing 1 hour that we all have like invested, and we got to know a lot about 3D modeling things and about Blender also. And there is a lot of questions
Okay.
that
Yeah.
that we can take now. So
Yeah, definitely.
so first is, yeah, I have seen Soumya asking a lot of questions, not only in this session but in our each and every questions. So
That-
that's really great to see. Yeah.
all right.
So the first,
Yeah,
hmm,
go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, you can like continue what you want to ask.
No, I just wanted to know. Yeah, you can continue with the questions. I was curious to know if you were going to read it or I should address it. That's it.
Yeah, no, I'm going to share it on the screen. If you want,
Okay.
you can also
Yeah.
read it, or I can also read it. Okay.
Yeah, you can tell me
Okay.
the questions. I'll answer them. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the first question is sir, can you tell me some good resources for animation? Yeah, I think I can. We have covered. Yeah, you can again tell.
Yeah, for animation, uh, it is in the Notion document, but I'll specifically share this link again for animations if you want. Just a second. Yeah. Ayan, can you share this link with them? This is the channel that is really great for animations in Blender. You'll fall in love with his tutorials. They are really great.
Can I know where you have shared that link?
Oh, in the private chat of StreamYard. Please
Okay,
also share
wait.
the
Yeah, I will
Notion
share.
document.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I have shared.
Yep, that channel is specifically for animations in Blender and Blender in general. But yeah, it's good for animations.
Yeah, yeah, and one more is there. Wait, I am sharing that also.
That link has been shared apparently. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the next question is Like one is asking, Nitish is asking which application you are using.
Yeah, like I mentioned in one of my slides, my weapon of choice, Blender, free, open source, lot of features, very lightweight, and with the recent update, it has become very easy to use. So definitely go for Blender. It's a great software.
Yeah, great. Yeah, and the next is like other than Blender, which software they can use?
Yeah, so if you want to go for other than Blender, you have Cinema 4D, 3ds Max, Autodesk Maya, SketchUp, Revit, but those are a little bit more difficult to master. Blender is the one that most beginners use, so that is why I recommend that. um, Apart from that, there are many, like, even if you have heard of AutoCAD, that is also 3D modeling software, but that is used for more technical stuff. SolidWorks is one. It is used to design parts in factories or cars, but that is more specific. Like, SolidWorks is used just for that.
Yeah. Again, one question from Soumya: Is Blender supports Python for developing VR applications?
As far as I'm aware, not sure. It supports Python. I don't really get your question, but uh, if you would ask me if you want to make 3D models and put it in your VR application, that is definitely possible. And as far as I know, Blender is being used to do that. They create the 3D models in Blender and add it to their VR applications.
Yeah, Soumya, I hope you got your answer. Now, sir, what resources? I think we have already answered it.
Yeah, just go through my Notion document. I have compiled everything there so that it won't be an issue for anyone for regarding resources. So,
Yeah, I think there is no more questions for now.
all right. Yep,
All right.
that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone. Hope you enjoyed and got to know a lot of things about 3D modeling. And you can also refer to that Notion link that we have shared on the chats. And if you want, we can also share that on our Discord server. Right? And yeah, if you want any more help regarding this 3D modeling or animation thing, you can surely reach out to us, and we will be more than happy to help you. Like Prathamesh, I have also shared the LinkedIn link of Prathamesh, and you can also just like text him. He will be there to help you.
Yes, most
Yeah,
definitely. And regarding this session, if, like I mentioned previously, if you learned something new, please don't forget to tag me and Coders Evoke and share it on Twitter, Instagram, and share what you learned in this session so that other people who have missed it can maybe come and watch this session and learn something new as well.
yeah, exactly. So just go in your social handles and just tag us and just share like whatever you have learned, or like you have created something from this session, or like
Yeah, I
you
would
have created on
love
your
to
own.
see that. I'd love to see that. If you made something by yourself in Blender, render it, post it on your social media and tag me. I would love to see that as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I will suggest like to you can also like go through Prathamesh that Instagram post. Like he has also shared some designs there, and you
Yeah,
will love to see that things. So have you shared that
it
link?
is all there in the Notion as well, but I'll share my link again if you want. Mm,
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, if you have any questions, any more questions, then we have 1 minute more. Then you can ask.
yep.
If you want, then I'm again sharing the Instagram link of Prathamesh.
And if you have any questions, here my Twitter link as well. But it's all available on my portfolio
Notion.
website.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's on my
right.
it's on the Notion as well.
Yeah, I have seen a lot of like interacting peoples there, and And I like, and I'm hoping like you have enjoyed, really enjoyed. And I have
I
like
have
personally, I'm not
definitely.
into, yeah, yeah.
I
So
have
sorry.
definitely enjoyed this session. I definitely enjoyed the session. Otherwise, it wouldn't have extended till so long for sure. I enjoyed the session. That is why um, I could maybe take it for so long. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been. So, really grateful for all the people who are watching. Yep.
Yeah, one question is there like Blender web development में क्या काम आता है? Is
अच्छा.
Blender is used in web development?
यस। तो IG नील, ब्लेंडर में तुम ना 3D मॉडल्स बना के अपने वेबसाइट्स में इंपोर्ट करके यू कैन मेक द वेबसाइट्स इंटरैक्टिव। अभी आयन एक लिंक भेजिए प्राइवेट चैट में, कैन यू जस्ट शेयर दैट एंड ही विल बी एबल टू सी व्हाट एग्जैक्टली आई मीन, लाइक द रीसेंट वन।
Yeah, sure. Wait. Yeah, I have shared.
हाँ। सो नील, इफ़ यू गो टू दैट वेबसाइट, उस वेबसाइट में तुम देखोगे कि जो टेस्ला का ट्रक है दैट इज़ अ 3D मॉडल डिजाइंड इन ब्लेंडर एंड that is being used inside the website. So basically 3D modeling and web development is being combined here.
Yeah, great. Yeah, and one more thing, folks. Like when, like if you have like filled our form, then you have find out there one option for blogs. So like you can also write some blogs on like what you have learned from this session, and we will be more than like happy to see that, and we will be also there to review your content, and you may get a chance of that blog to publish in our websites. So you can also like. Use it that like you can also use that opportunity, and you can also write some blogs like whatever you have learned. Okay. So I think now it's over. We have
Yep.
a lot of time with this session. It's already 1 hour 20 minutes, so I
Yeah.
think we can wrap it out. uh,
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much everyone who have joined. I really enjoyed and looking forward to seeing you in my further sessions as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the form is on the chat also. You can also fill it out for the certificates. Yeah, and thank you so much everyone to for attending this session, and yeah, we will see you in our next session. So thank you all of you, and thank you Prathamesh to you also.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye everyone.